Dan Stapleton, I want to talk to you a little bit about Batman Arkham Knight.
The Batman?
Months ago, when we first started doing this show, Arkham Knight launched pretty recently around the same time we started doing Overclocked, and it was a nightmare. It was just a disaster situation for people who wanted to play Arkham Knight on PC. It is back on Steam this week. It lives.
Yeah, they put it back up for sale. Like that was a pretty much unprecedented situation where they had
4 months off Steam.
They had I mean, if you bought it, you still had it the whole time. But and they put out patches. I think they just put out like the third patch to fix the dire state it was in. But if you bought it and didn't ask for a refund, you had it this whole time and still had access to it. But now you can buy it again. It's back on sale for $50. Warner and Rocksteady are offering an interesting.
Yeah, I've got that promotional copy here. Yeah. So they said on the Steam forum, we'll be giving away free in all caps digital copies of games from the Batman Arkham library. This means we'll be giving away copies of Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year, Batman Arkham City Game of the Year, Batman Arkham Origins, no Game of the Year, and Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. Sadly not. The Batman Arkham library of games will be given to everyone who's already purchased or will purchase Batman Arkham Knight for PC prior to midnight Pacific, November 16th, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So decent cheat code. If you want to play every Arkham game on PC, buy Arkham Knight now.
Right. Yeah. If you've never played them before.
That's the thing.
Here's the thing. Like the people that already bought this game, that pre-ordered it to begin with and bought it during the first, however long it was on sale, like 72 hours.
Yeah.
Like that.
The people who are really excited for it.
Yeah. Obviously, the first early adopters are probably going to be the ones who played
probably the faithful fans.
They already own all those games.
Yeah.
So it's I guess like maybe you didn't have the Steam version, but still.
Or maybe
they could throw Sunsoft Batman in.
We'll see. Look, it's a nice gesture, right? But it might be cool to maybe expose some other things in the Warner library or something like that.
Right.
Or be able to give you some credit or something.
Yeah, or give you a Mad Max or something.
Right.
Like it doesn't make any sense. Like the people that are already loyal customers get the least out of this.
Yeah.
Which is entirely backwards.
These are also, by the way, the people that did not return the game. So these were people that committed to keeping Arkham Knight in their library on good faith that it would be fixed.
Yeah.
And still people who were buying it though. Still, it's still gonna until what is it, November 6th? You said or
14th, 16th, November 16th.
Okay. So it is better than nothing, but it's not ideal.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty weak mix.
There are better ways to make nice. I think about what Nintendo did with the 3DS Ambassador program. What was that? 10 games?
From different platforms, right? Like you got your NES, your Game Boy games, your Game Boy Advance, lots and lots of good stuff.
And Ubisoft has had bad launches where they've given away a whole free game.
And a new game too.
EA did the same thing with SimCity. They gave away a free game. There's you could do better.
Free copy of Half-Life 3.
Coming your way. Never.
Yeah. So and there are a couple of other minor incentives.
So Rocksteady will be creating the new Community Challenge Pack that will be given free to owners of Arkham Knight in January 2016. As a thanks to the Steam community, PC players will have access to these maps a week before they hit consoles.
It'd be nice if maybe they had something like all the DLC that's coming out or something.
Right, and that's the thing. Is
something like that, right? Give me something.
Give me the season pass
in the future.
for free.
Right.
Give me all of this stuff that I would love to have been playing for the past 4 months with the different vehicle skins and the Barbara mission and the upcoming Nightwing stuff, all that stuff. I feel like it would have looked so good if Rocksteady and WB had said you know what, this was a big deal. And you deserve this.
Yeah, and we sound like a bunch of grumpy pants, I realize here, but they shipped a broken game.
Yes.
Yep. And that's not good.
Yeah.
You got to make that right.
I'm sure we sound like a bunch of grumpy people, except for the people who got screwed by this.
Not only shipped a broken game, actually literally pulled it off, right? Yeah. Pulled it down.
And I do commend them for doing that.
But I'm saying, that's how broken it was.
Right.
They actually had to own up to it, admit it, and say, we're not even going to let anybody buy this.
Early access games don't even do that.
Yeah. So we should talk about how the condition it's in now. So
clearly it's all fixed. Everything's perfect now,
it's
right?
It's not entirely. I mean, it's way better. I've played about half an hour of it so far, so it's my experience is not all encompassing.
Sure.
But from what I played, it's significantly better. Obviously now you can play at 60 frames a second. It's no longer capped at 30, and they had there was a workaround, but they're like, oh, don't do that, it'll break things.
Great.
Yeah. It's you can play at uncapped frame rates now, which is a big improvement.
That's nice.
It's running much more smoothly for me now. I actually haven't gotten to drive around the city yet because the save game I have is at a point where you can't really do that, and I just have to play through more of it. I have to get through that airship section.
Okay.
So it's but it is
as long
running.
as you don't have to do more Joker races, Dan. It's fine.
Riddler
races. I mean Riddler races.
Yeah. But yeah, it is running much more smoothly for me. I'm running it on a GTX 780 Ti in there.
Okay.
Although it could definitely be better optimized in terms of the amount of texture memory it takes. I can't max it out on that card because it takes too much texture memory.
Wow.
Although it does look great even when, on high settings instead of ultra everything.
Yeah.
So it's in pretty good shape.
Steam reviews seem to really mirror a lot of the stuff you're saying too.
But I like in that half an hour I played.
Dan wrote them all.
Every
single one.
In the half an hour I played, I did run across just a couple of cosmetic glitches. I had a guy just kind of in a cutscene. I had a guy seem to walk up an invisible step and then immediately back down. He's walking across and goes up, down.
Gotham's a weird place, Dan.
Yeah, and then I also in those scenes where you're talking to Alfred on your hollow gauntlet, and you got the hand to the ear talking to him, and you can kind of walk around slowly. I got stuck on geometry during that, which wasn't a big deal because I just couldn't move while I wasn't really able to do anything anyway.
Right.
And as soon as that scene ended, I could move, but it's like, okay, that's 2 glitches in half an hour, and neither of them were affected gameplay, but it's noticeable. So it's definitely not polished to a sheen. Although one thing I did appreciate is they now have better PC icons for when you're playing with mouse and keyboard. I forget what they looked like before, but it was just like this terrible looking button _1 mouse.
Oh
thing.
Yeah. Like the code input.
They fixed that.
Cool. So now it just says E.
Yeah.
Which is handy.
Yeah. But yeah, so the Steam reviews, though, a lot of people are still having issues.
Yeah,
either that or they're just still really mad.
Well, looking at them, there's a lot that are definitely salty, that are like, they don't deserve your money. Good job, devs, lol. But there are people who are genuinely still disappointed with the state of the game, where they say, they've played lots of it, and they're still having trouble with it, and they recommend against it, even though, I love the story, I love the graphics, I love things. It's still not functioning in an appropriate way.
Yeah, I mean, some people are still having stutter problems. Some people are just having general performance issues. It could, and some people were reporting crashes. Like one of them was saying they had like 4 crashes in an hour.
Right.
It didn't crash on me. So it's not like this thing is going to crash on your machine. But
yeah, I mean, this is some people. Definitely, there are others who are having a positive experience.
Yeah, and there are definitely, like with virtually every game, there are people that. On PC, like you just sometimes
the configuration just isn't going to work.
Yeah. We all know that pain. Right. We have all been there.
So I still can't play like half-minute hero or whatever it is.
You just can't get it
because it's like I can run it on my shoes. It's the most low-intensity game, but I just can't run it because of something in my rig.
You have those Back to the Future shoes?
Yeah.
Still better than those DOS days when you had to like make your own boot disk and try to get squeeze. I was so happy when I got like 633K out of my boot disk. I was like, yes, finally that's opened up. I can play almost anything.
EMS, XMS, MemMaker.
Yeah. And hitting F5 every 2 minutes to make sure you didn't lose any progress when it invariably crashed. But anyway, we expect better out of games these days.
Yeah, standards are higher. I thought I had something else I wanted to ask you, but maybe not. That or it just drifted
Who
out
is the Arkham Knight?
Who is the Arkham Knight? You've had 4 months to avoid spoilers. Hope you managed.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne is the Arkham Knight. Spoilers.
Oh, just going back to the original. Just going back to the original point of this mea culpa make good giveaway. I think that despite the game still having issues, and despite that it's not a great makeup for fans who got Arkham Knight day one, it's pretty awesome if you've never played Arkham Knight and you want to get a bunch of free Batman games. Like $50 for all of those games is incredible.
Yep.
So true. Man, those games are worth paying $50 for Arkham Knight if you're going to get all of them for free.
Yeah,
that's great.
If you haven't followed the Batman saga and you haven't been a fan so far and you didn't buy it on day one,
by the time you play through all of those games, should probably be in good shape.
It's a lot of good games in there.
Pretty good time to opt in.
Yes.
Yeah. And the first 3 games, like it looks fantastic on PC. But like those games next to the old gen console versions. Just it's night and day.
Oh yeah, Arkham Asylum.
Night with a K.
Yeah, I was saying Arkham Night and Day.
I can't flip the table. I tried.
There is no Arkham Night Day.
You're strong. I believe it.
Thanks, Jared.
No problem.